I love rollerblading, but I'm not very fast, like, at all.
Hey, get out of the way!
And every single time I try to go out and rollerblade, this guy always messes with me. I gotta get faster at this. But getting faster isn't exactly an easy ask.
There's only one way I know how to get faster at rollerblading overnight.
Practice?
No. Build a jetpack.
Oh yeah, a jetpack would make me so fast that blue dude would never catch me.
But the problem is that jetpacks need jet engines.
And I can't exactly afford a jet engine. Not even if I use this coupon. Ugh, what am I gonna do?
Why don't you use this?
It's a jet engine from a leaf blower. Of course. I have more leaf blowers than anyone should ever have. I could use a few of these to make my jetpack for sure.
So if I can harvest a bunch of these motors and somehow get them to strap to my back, I should be able to make a really powerful jetpack. Okay, so here's how this is gonna work. I've got the motor and the battery that I need on my back, and I've got all the controls that need to go on my hand. But the issue is that these wires are way too short to make that happen, so I just gotta figure out a way to make all these wires longer and put it back together. Why is this taken apart anyway? I was trying to build a rocket ship. A rocket ship, really? Ugh. Well, if I can't figure out a way to make this work, I'm not gonna be able to build a jetpack.
And I need to make a jetpack, because you see, it's not that I want to go faster, it's that I have to. When I was little, I lived here, in a little trailer park in upstate New York. And something about me is I loved to ride my bike around the neighborhood, and there was these two kids, and every time I would ride my bike near their house, they would throw rocks at me. They'd beat me up, they'd steal my Pokemon cards, and I always knew that if I was just a little faster, I could have gotten away. And I guess I kind of owe it to myself to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself.
Okay, we are hooked up and the wires are way longer now. Let's see if this thing works. Okay, now that we know that this works, we need to get ourselves another motor.
Now, I'm sure we've all heard the phrase slow and steady wins the race, right? But I think that's just for turtles. I think the person with the jetpack wins the race. And if you think about it, the jetpack sits on your back kind of like a turtle shell, so alright, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea where I was going with that. But anyway.
Okay, we've got two motors ready to go. Probably a pretty good place to start. But the first thing I need before we can start testing these out is I'm gonna need some sort of housing to put this in so I can attach it to something else.
Now I've got tons of stuff in the shed, so I should have something. I've got a camper made of trash, a scooter made of trash, piles of trash cans. Wait, I bet I've got something I can use in there. Oh yeah.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is we'll put these right in here and, oh yeah, look at that. That fits perfectly. But I just realized that I actually have to extend all these wires now too.
Yeah, so I had to splice all the wires yet again. You know what? You don't want to hear about this. This is the boring stuff. Let's just fast forward to the good parts. And here.
Okay, we're in a much better spot now. Let's get this thing hooked up and give it a try. First things first, we gotta get this in here. Then we gotta get all these hooked up here. Okay, so this thing actually has some serious thrust. Now, obviously, it didn't seem like I was going very fast, because I wasn't. Because the thing with these is that the acceleration is really slow, but once you get moving, you get moving. Like, you get going so fast. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the second one set up, and then instead of strapping them to my back, I'm gonna strap them to my longboard, just so we can test the speed. And once we know how many motors we need, then we can build the jetpack.
Okay, so I guess first I'm gonna build a jet-powered longboard. Now, I've actually done something kind of like this before, did it a little differently, but if you want to check it out, there it is, right there. That's the video.
Okay, now that we've got this like super sick jetpack prototype thing, let's strap it to the longboard and see what happens.
The only problem is that when I went to go look for my longboard, guess what? Couldn't find it anywhere. Figures. Ugh. I bet one of my roommates has it.
Nice. Thanks. Yeah. Hey, have you seen my longboard around? Yeah. So, you know, boxing glove guy, right? The boxing.
Yeah.
Glove. Okay. So yeah. He wanted to know what it would be like to fly. Okay. So where's my longboard? Yeah. Yo, sorry guys. I need my longboard back. Oh, come on, just 5 more minutes. Sorry guys, I don't have 5 minutes. I'm building a jetpack. Come on, you always do this. You always do this. You always do this. I don't know, man. What should I do? Just talk to her. Well, that's easy for you to say. Why would that be hard to say? It's like 4 words. I got the longboard. Sick. Okay, and yeah, this thing's so sick. Okay, this thing's nuts. We're gonna bring it out to the road and get a proper speed test. All right, let's give this thing a shot. Okay, this is pretty sick. So, hey, couldn't help but notice you were checking out my new Team Socks windbreaker. It's super comfortable. You can find it over on the merch store. 8 miles an hour. This is kind of nuts. So, fun fact, my entire merch store wouldn't even actually be possible without this company called Printful. So, Printful, for those of you who don't know, is a print-on-demand company that lets you turn your ideas into sweet apparel like this. 10 miles an hour. That was spooky. So, a while back, I wanted to create channel merch for the community, but I was hit with a pretty big problem. Creating merch was super expensive. I needed a bunch of inventory space. I needed to buy the inventory up front, and I needed a ton of time to fulfill orders. Why does 12 miles an hour feel so much faster than that? And that's when our sponsor Printful entered the battle. I was able to make a Printful account, link into my Shopify store, so that way my entire merch store was print on demand. 15 miles an hour! So that eliminated any need for inventory space. It was way less wasteful because I wasn't left with any extra shirts people didn't buy. Printful is perfect for people like me who have an online store. And it's great for those of you who just want to get your design on a sick piece of apparel. And if you don't have a store, Printful just launched this really cool new tool called Quick Stores that allows you to start a store in minutes for free. 18 miles an hour! Hey, click the link in the description or go to Printful.com to try it out for yourself. Okay, this thing's pretty sick, but it does have a couple problems. Problem number 1, this is an absolute mess. And problem number 2, this is totally not fast enough. So as far as making this less of a mess, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet, but what I can do to make sure my jetpack is as fast as it can possibly be, we're gonna put a 3rd motor on it. But here's the thing, if I'm gonna put a 3rd motor on this jetpack, I gotta figure out a different housing situation. So how about you take care of getting that motor all set, and I'm gonna go take care of finding a new housing. Sounds good? Yo, you done? Yeah, me too. Cool. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna build 3 of these. So the motors are gonna go right here in this end. And I'm gonna mount them all on my back just like this to allow the air to flow through the top and out through the bottom. So I just gotta build 2 more of these. Okay, we've got our jetpack housing set up, but before we start putting the motors in here, we gotta make these things look really cool. Okay, so while I wait for this stuff to dry, I gotta start looking for a backpack, because without a backpack, I'm not gonna be able to get the jetpack strapped to my body. Hey, have you guys seen my backpack? I need it for a build. Yeah, so what? What are you building? A jetpack. Why? Because I'm trying to rollerblade faster than this blue dude that keeps messing with me. Wait, blue dude? Like all blue, yellow mohawk, fingerless gloves? Yeah, you know him? Oh man, he's on Earth? Oh, I know him. We go way back. Hey, Suxes! Soxes. Whatever. Man, that's way better better than what he did to me. What did he do to you? He deleted all the save files on my favorite games. And he poured a drink on my head. Oh man, that's tough. So, backpack? It's in the freezer. Okay, we've got a backpack and all of our housing components have finished drying, which means it's time to take this apart and start building our jetpack.
Okay, now this build was turning out to be a lot more intense than I thought it was gonna be. Now don't get me wrong, I literally love this build. It is one of my absolute favorite ones, but it was a lot of electrical work and it is hard. But if there is one thing I do know, it is that everything worth doing is in fact hard.
Okay, we officially have all 3 of our jetpack motors here. This is definitely the coolest thing I've ever made. Honestly, really proud of this paint job. It looks so sick. Okay, so now I gotta figure out a way to make a backpack out of these things. So not only do I have to figure out a way to get these things all attached to each other, but I also have to figure out a way to get them on here.
So I figured I would just start by reinforcing this backpack with a piece of wood. Now this part of the build was kind of crazy. I used pretty much every tool that I own besides like 3 of them, because not only did I have to cut apart the backpack, but then I also have to cut the wood out, and then I have to sand the wood, and then I had to screw the wood to the backpack, but I also had to paint the wood before I could put it on the backpack, because then it wouldn't look very cool. Then I stapled the backpack to the wood, grinded down all the screws that were sticking out, and then voila.
Okay, are you ready? You're probably not ready, but are you ready? Okay, all right. Dude, this thing is incredible! Check this thing out! This is nuts! This is the nutsest thing. All right, like this needs a lot of work. This needs a lot of work right here. But yeah, we're good. This is good. Carlini, you've done it again. You are an absolute madman. Thanks, guys. I want to be just like you when I grow up. But you're not gonna grow up. Why? Because you're a clone, and clones only live for about 45 minutes. What? That's ridiculous. Okay, anyway, I need to figure out a way to fix all this up right here, and then we're done.
This was it. This was the final step standing between me and having a super sick jetpack. That blue dude was never gonna be able to catch me with this. And man, I was fired up. I was excited. I was so proud of this build because it was gonna go so fast, and I didn't know it at the time, but I certainly was not prepared for how fast this thing was gonna go.
Okay, the controller hand is completely done. It looks a little crazy, but it works. But just like that, guys, this is completely done now. Check this out. Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy? All right, there's only one thing left to do.
Remember when I was saying I wasn't prepared for how fast this thing was gonna go? Well, this is what I was talking about. This thing was scary fast, but also the most fun I have ever had ever.
What? Oh. You're not gonna get away from me. Get back here. You're not gonna catch me.
Now, it's crazy that it took me so long to realize that if I run from my problems, I'll be running forever. And I've already been running long enough. The only way to solve your problems is to turn around and face them head on. And that's exactly what I did.
Hey! No! You gotta be kidding me!
that's all I got.